The Apple Watch Series 10 is the largest update that the Apple Watch has had in years. And I might not mean that in a good way, and I'll tell you why at the end of the video. The Series 10 marks the 10th anniversary of the Apple Watch, and it truly feels like, even though we haven't had a massive redesign that some of us were hoping for, the Series 10 brings a lot to the table, making the Apple Watch more useful than ever. This is the Apple Watch Series 10, and this is my review. Now let's start talking about the design because it's the first thing you see. It's bigger than ever and thinner than ever. Yes, the Apple Watch gets larger casings and larger displays. The one that I've been testing is 46 millimeters, making it actually bigger than an Apple Watch Ultra. This larger display makes it incredibly useful to do day-to-day tasks. The same thing happened with my Apple Watch Ultra. The larger the display is, the more you kind of want to use your watch. Using the Apple Watch keyboard to reply to a message on a larger display makes you simply want to use it more. Watch faces that take up the entire screen look incredible, such as the brand new Photos watch face that takes up the entire screen. Since the buttons are larger, everything is just easier to use. The design of the Apple Watch Series 10 also got thinner, making it the thinnest Apple Watch yet. In fact, it's 10% thinner than the previous generation Apple Watch Series 9. The Apple Watch getting thinner is very nice to have, but on the other hand, maybe I would have wished for a larger battery life and having more room, more space on the Apple Watch rather than having a thinner design. Not complaining, I'm just saying the design of it looks amazing, but instead of a thinner design, maybe some people would have preferred a larger battery life. But maybe, I guess, that's why the Apple Watch Ultra exists. The Apple Watch comes in so many new colors and new finishes, such as the stunning titanium. A big problem that stainless steel had on the Apple Watch was that it scratched extremely easily because stainless steel just tends to scratch easier. And I mean, I haven't had enough time testing the actual material to let you know if it scratches easier or not, but it's looking like titanium will scratch a lot less. There's also this new jet black aluminum casing on the Apple Watch Series 10 that looks absolutely incredible. I got a chance to see it in person, and I just can't believe it's made out of aluminum, and it's actually the cheapest Apple Watch Series 10 to get. It looks basically as premium as the more expensive titanium models. It looks amazing in person. There's also a lot of really useful new improvements to the display. You can basically now look at your Apple Watch in a lot more different viewing angles. Now this is due to the brand new wide angle OLED display, which basically emits more light at wider angles, making it 40% brighter when viewed from the side. Now there's so many useful use cases for this. For example, let's say you're typing on your computer, or you're eating, or you're drinking coffee, and usually when you wanted to read a message or look at a complication or something as simple as looking at the time, even when you're in a meeting, for example, there's a lot of situations when you wanted to look at the time. Let's say you're in a meeting and you're just sitting like this. You looked at your watch and you couldn't see the time, you couldn't see your display. So then you kind of had to do like this gesture, and it's kind of rude to look at your watch sometimes. Or maybe you're eating, you've got a fork in your hand and you kind of do this gesture, you just got to leave your fork. But now it's just so much simpler than that. In my experience while using the Apple Watch Series 10, this new viewing angle is probably one of the surprises that this Apple Watch brings. It's a feature that you kind of didn't know you needed. The new display is also enhanced for power efficiency, which basically allows your always-on display to refresh every little second. So basically what this means in a real life scenario is now when you're not looking at your Apple Watch, your watch face, when you look at the second hand, it will actually be ticking every second, same as in real life. When you're not looking at your traditional watch, the watch keeps ticking. Now, depending on what watch face you're actually using, it looks like a real watch even when you're not looking at it. And while we're talking about new watch faces, the Apple Watch Series 10 actually has two brand new watch faces. The reflection watch face features a distinctive shimmering dial that actually reacts when you move your watch. It's designed to complement the brand new titanium Milanese loop, the brand new titanium link bracelet, and it looks incredible when you pair it with. There's also the brand new Flux watch face, which has this bold graphic that fills the screen with color second by second, and with the always-on display, you can actually see the second going up in the screen, even with the always-on display, as I said. The Apple Watch Series 10 is powered by the new S10 Chip and a built-in 4-core neural engine, ensuring the best performance ever on an Apple Watch. We still do not have Apple Intelligence, so basically what this means is that your Apple Watch will keep running extremely smooth for years to come. Hopefully Apple Intelligence will come with the Apple Watch Series 11 using all of that performance that the Apple Watch Series 10 has. The S10 Chip also allows the Apple Watch to maintain that 18-hour battery life even with that new improved refresh rate. Now, as I said before, this is something that the Apple Watch still kind of lacks and is kind of far away. I was really hoping for a bump in battery life this year compared to the Apple Watch Ultra, where it usually lasts you up to 3 days of basic usage, I felt like the 10th massive anniversary of the Apple Watch kind of deserved this battery buff. I might not agree with Apple's decision making the Apple Watch thinner compared to a larger battery life. I feel like users are complaining more about the battery life of the Apple Watch rather than having a thinner design. Now look, I'm all for it once again. It looks absolutely incredible, but if we're talking priorities, I'd rather have a larger battery. On the other hand, though, Apple is making the charging experience on the Apple Watch better than ever because the Apple Watch Series 10 is actually the fastest charging Apple Watch ever to be made. Just by charging your Apple Watch for 15 minutes, you're gonna get 8 hours of usage. So maybe if you're taking a shower or maybe you're cooking some dinner, you can have your Apple Watch ready to be charged for sleep tracking. I absolutely love that the Apple Watch charges this quick now because you can basically find 15 minutes anywhere and you're always gonna have your Apple Watch charged. But then you look at the Apple Watch Ultra lasting you 3 days and it kind of makes you want to get the Ultra, but I still want this sleek, beautiful design. Let me know in the comments, are you team thinner design or are you team battery? The Apple Watch Series 10 also gets a bunch of health features, starting with sleep apnea detection. It's a feature that uses the accelerometer and the breathing disturbance metric in the health app to detect signs of sleep apnea. Apple says that sleep apnea is actually affecting over 1 billion people worldwide, and there's tons of people that don't actually know that they've got this issue. You might have it and you might not notice it. It includes notifications and detailed reports to help users seek medical advice. Apple is actually getting all this information while you're sleep tracked. That's why, on the other hand, Apple truly believes that the Apple Watch getting lighter and thinner will be more comfortable for us to sleep track with it because it's just going to be a more comfortable experience to use it while going to bed. The Apple Watch Series 10 also steals a brand new feature that the Ultra has had for a while. The Series 10 now has a depth gauge, bringing the depth app from the Apple Watch Ultra to the standard Apple Watch. I've said this in videos before, the depth app is actually amazing not only for diving, but for snorkeling or for simply knowing the temperature of the water. Because the depth app does all of that. It can actually let you know how deep you're going and the temperature of the water. And as I've said before, the depth app is not only for the Ultras. I use it for snorkeling all summer long. And this feature being available to all Apple Watch Series 10 and the Ultra makes me extremely happy, and I'm going to be using this so much. There's also the brand new Tides app, which gives you information from the high and low tide times, rising and falling tides, the tide height and direction, plus sunrise and sunset time. So if you live by the beach by me, or you surf, or maybe you do water sports, or maybe you're just going out for kayaking in the ocean, or maybe you've got a boat, all of this information will be incredibly useful. And I actually tested how accurate it was, and it was telling me that the beach that I have closest to me, it was extremely windy and very wavy. And guess what? It was extremely windy and very wavy. It was extremely accurate. The Series 10 also gets massively useful features surrounding sound. Starting off with the speaker, you can now have audio playback directly from the Apple Watch. I actually said that the Apple Watch desperately needed this a while back, and it's not a feature that you're gonna be using every day. Whenever you wanted to play something, it always asks you to wear AirPods, and sometimes you don't have AirPods around you, or maybe sometimes you do, but you just wanna listen to something really quick. It's happened to me a lot of times where a friend sent me a song and I wanted to play it, and guess what? I had to grab my iPhone and listen to it from here. Or maybe I was finishing up a podcast and I had to use my iPhone or my AirPods. The amount of times that I wanted this feature, once again, this might happen to you like 20 times per year, but the tiny times when that will happen to you, you're gonna be so happy that it's here. I'm a heavy user of the Apple Watch, and if you are too, you know how important this feature was to us. The microphone of the Series 10 also has voice isolation. So when somebody calls you and you're in a very busy area, you often just receive the phone calls from your iPhone because you can just listen to it and you're afraid that people won't hear you. But now with the Apple Watch Series 10, since you've actually got voice isolation, and it gets rid of all the sound. All right, so let me show you noise cancellation on Apple Watch Series 10 in action. So this right here is the audio quality on the Apple Watch Series 10 with the noise cancellation. As you can see, there's not a lot of noise. I'm in the middle of the streets. There's cars passing by right now, and it isolates voice pretty well. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. Seriously, it's amazing. While I was unboxing the Series 10, Xenia actually called me, and there was actually music playing in the studio, and I was like, hey, can you hear me? She's like, yeah, perfectly fine. And I'm like, but you can hear the music, right? And she's like, what music? And I'm like, what? Voice isolation on Series 10 is just unbelievable the way that it works. I mean, just look at the first time when I actually experienced it. This was totally improvised. Check it out. I'm gonna put music, and the music is quite loud. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can.
Can you hear my voice?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you hear the music that's behind me?
Which music?
Are you serious?
I can hear nothing.
What the heck? The Apple Watch Series 10 takes everything that you love about the Apple Watch even further. Every generation of the watch reminds me why I love this product so much. It makes me live a healthier life and makes everything so much more useful for me. It keeps me motivated to move more using the activity ring. It reminds me to meditate and stop in this crazy busy life we live in. It tracks all of my workouts and gives me detailed information about every single one of them, including my heart rate. It alerts people when their heart rate is too high or too low. Features like fall detection or the ability to take an ECG directly from your wrist is just mind-blowing. And then it makes my day-to-day more useful, more productive, more healthier with this. Because the ability to read notifications on the watch, answer phone calls, reply to messages, use Apple Pay, Siri, double tap. There's a lot of features that your iPhone can do as well, but just the fact that you can do all of that straight from your wrist changes everything. And come on, let's not forget about the one and only reason that people buy an Apple Watch. I mean, come on, pinging your iPhone when you can't find it. I know you just bought a brand new Apple Watch Series 10 just to do that. As I said in the beginning, the Apple Watch Series 10 is the largest updates in years. There's no company in the world that makes a smartwatch better than Apple. The Apple Watch still does not have competition. The iPhone has competition. The Apple Watch does not have competition. They keep improving the Apple Watch year after year, refining perfection. And what gets me so excited is that there's still massive potential on what Apple could do with this. There's so many health sensors to explore, so many designs to explore. It still needs a longer battery life, a radical redesign, stress detection, Apple Intelligence, one-way FaceTime, glucose monitoring. The present of the Apple Watch is bright, but the future is brighter. This is the Apple Watch Series 10, and this was my review.